Thank you. Does anyone know who this is? If you do, please type in the name in the chat box. For those of you on the phone, we'll reveal the identity momentarily. So, who is this familiar icon? You're right. A lot of you guys said King Tut. You know, there's a relationship to his photo or to his life, and I'll be talking about it later today in this presentation. I like your Tom, Steve Martin. Yeah, he looks like it. I do like that, Sue. Great job. We have two goals today, and which are you'll be able to discuss why stuff is so important to some people. We can list a tip, 10 tips for downsizing and decluttering your home. This may be the last time we have four generations still alive at the same time. For our older Americans, the age gap between their parents and themselves is about 20 years. And for Gen Xers, there are about 30 years older than their kids. At this moment in time, we have the two oldest generations in the position of wanting to pass their stuff down to their youngest generations. Okay, really quickly, I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to ask you some questions. Please type your answers in the chat room. What event symbolizes the lives of boomers, those that were born between 1946 and 1964? Type in your answer in the chat room. A lot of different information. We have disco duck, Vietnam War, wealth, hippies, blue jeans with patches. Those are really good answers. JFK, disco Vietnam, Woodstock, love it. Martin Luther King and disco. I love disco. Men on the Moon, Flower Power, Affluence, Civil Rights Movements. Very good. You know, the answer is the Great Depression or World War II. Now, I'm going to ask you another question really quickly. What did the greatest generation lie about their age to do? Those born between 1910 and 1924, type your answer in the chat. Oh my gosh, a lot of you have said that. What did the greatest generation lie about their age to do? Very right. You're actually, the answer is joining the war. Last question. What did the Gen Xers, folks that were born in 1965 and 1979, or called the millennials 1980 to 1994, lie about their age to do? Again, please answer in the chat. Oh my God, you guys are all so good at this. That's right. Well, work, not get drafted, get into the bar. So really it's about drinking the alcohol. So people lie about their age to get into the bars so they can buy drinks, you know. I wasn't one of them. So why this all this matter? There are several reasons. We're facing, let me see, make sure my face is out of the way. We're facing the largest amount of people ever requiring healthcare services. Two generations attach pride to their stuff because of hard work and memories. There's an impending shortage of affordable housing for downsizing, and the rising costs of healthcare mean more services and are being provided within the home. And the number one thing that impedes people in leaving their home and or getting healthcare into their homes is the stuff. In the 2017 National Care Survey, Good Run Research interviewed about 1,000 caretakers, and the thing that caused the most stress was, of course, once again, the stuff. Can't get rid of that word. Well, then let's look at the 10 helpful tips as to how we get rid of our stuff. Tip number one, please take notes. Yes, I remember one too, Grace Sonia. Include everyone living in the home. So that includes your spouse, your partner, your kids, grandkids, the pets, everyone. Downsizing can be a very massive task, and enlisting members of your household will help you know that you are not alone in this huge project. If you live alone, rope in your family or even some friends to help you. Ask them to help you downsize. Now, let me do a little quick question to you all and put it in the chat room. How many of you have lived in your home for like 0 to 5 years? Or maybe just type in the chat room, how long have you lived in your current home? Is it 5 years, 15 years, 20 years, 32 years from Joe? 30, 48. Oh my goodness. 25, 3. Good for you. For those 45, good for you. Fabulous. Wow, 1.5 years, 40 years,
Wow, I
50
see
years.
50.
Very nice. 9 months, Kim. 51. I see 51. So far over 60 years for Robin. Wow. These are really, really great years. You know, some of us have lived in our home for more than 50 years. So do you think we can downsize by ourselves in one weekend? You know, you've lived there for 50 years. Oh, I can do it overnight. Of course not. We need help getting this task done, this work done. Even if you prefer to do it by yourself, it is important to include everyone in the home, especially your kids and your grandkids if they live with you. Understand that it's going to take some time. It is important to not exclude your spouse or partner or your pets once again, just because you think they won't want to help. Tip number two. So the first one, we include everyone in our home. Now the number two, it's called the 10-minute sweep. It can take a long time to clean up a room. Try to focus on baby steps, not one large room at a time. You know, this is the best way to clean a room. I'm going to give you those tips, okay? This is the best way. Instead of looking at the room as a whole, look at a small 2 foot by 2 foot sections. Compare this to losing 50 pounds. If you try to do it in a week, it doesn't work. But if you focus on 1 pound at a time, you're most likely to be very successful. So have everyone in the family or just yourself, if you live alone, pick a 2 foot by 2 foot area and clean for 10 minutes each day. Not more than 10 minutes, not less than 10 minutes. 2 by 2 area, clean it for 10 minutes. Now, another tip is try it at nighttime, 10 minutes before your favorite TV show, before the Real Housewives come on. 10 minutes before that, The Bachelor comes on, 10 minutes comes before that. Now, stay consistent 5 nights a week. Do it 5 nights a week, every week, and you'll see that your home will start to look more organized after just a few weeks. Now, tip number 3, unpack your bags. This one may not feel very super relevant right now, but we all be traveling again someday. So, what is the proper way to unpack a bag after a vacation? Type in the chat room if you have like some tips or ideas. If you know how to properly unpack a bag after a vacation, type it in the chat room. Oh, it's a very quiet chat room right now. Dirty clothes out first, do it right away. Put everything, I wash everything. Yes, laundry stuff first. Take everything out. Very good, you guys. Now you don't need my tip anymore. You guys know all the answer. Very good. We often hear two answers. The first answer is immediately when you get home, and the second answer is right before my next trip. But what we are looking for here is, of course, right away, immediately. Same goes for grocery bags. When you get home from the store, however, however, given the current pandemic, I'm going to share some recommendations from an AARP article that was published online on April 13th of last year. Once you get in the door, put down any shopping bags or goods on the floor and walk straight to the sink to wash your hands. After that, you can put your groceries and other supplies away, after which both expert advise that another round of hand washing. So you go, once you get into the house, you drop your grocery bag, go to the to the sink, wash your hand, put stuff away, and then wash your hands again twice. Given that the contact with food and no food packaging isn't thought to be a main way of the virus spreads, Chapman says that there's no need to carry out any special disinfecting procedures on food packages or produce once you return from home. And using products like soap or other disinfectants on food can pose separate health risks. Instead, rinse fresh produce from your normally would, like with clear water, and wash your hands before preparing food or eating meals. Tip number 4. So now we are in tip number 4. Every item has a home. Don't let the stuff you bring home stack up. Put everything where it is supposed to go. When unpacking, make sure your groceries go up in the kitchen, tools go in the garage, clothes go in the closets, dirty clothes go in the hamper. Which brings us to another tip: equal in and equal out. Equal in and equal out means when you bring something new into the home, something of the same size comes out. Just because an item is on sale doesn't mean your home gets bigger. Let me repeat really quickly what tip number 3 was. Somebody was asking. Let me do it first with tip number 1. Include your include everyone in your living in your home. So include everyone living in your home. Tip number 2 is called the 10-minute sweep. Tip number 3, unpacking your bag. Tip number 4, every item has a place in the home. And now we're going to talk about tip number 5. It's called the 4-pile sort. So make a 4-pile. Now, when sorting your items, break things into 4 piles. You have your keep, sell, donate, and trash. Please note that there is no maybe box. Maybe I could wear this when I turn 110 again in my life, Don't say, I will keep this dress because eventually I will be very skinny again or I will be size 0 again. As you are sorting it, it's important to put the sell and donate piles closest to you or next to you and the keep pile far away from you. It's amazing to see how much you don't keep if you have to walk all the way across the room to keep it. Now, we're in the midway point of our presentation today. I'm going to pause here really quickly and see if we have any other questions. Grace Sonia, do you see anything? I think somebody mentioned earlier that you're mute. Somebody mentioned earlier to provide the list at the very end, and that we will do that. Oh, Cassie mentioned that after living in RV for 5 years, had to do that for the weight load and the assets. Very good point. Let's see. Thank you, by the way, Robin. So the question is, how do you decide which clothes to get rid of when they all fit and all are worn at least one times a year? So we're actually talk about that later today in the donation part, which is tip number 8. So let's hold off to that for a little bit until we get to that point. So Stephanie says she does number 5 often and can't seem to get in control. You just, let's see, tip, yeah, pile sort, keep sell, donate trash. Wonderful charities. That's good. Thank you. We'll talk about the 2 can't on tape tips on just starting. Somebody,
Yeah, this is Renee.
yes.
I just wanted to make a comment, and it takes me so long to type it, but this process of pile, sort, keep, sell, donate, trash, I've been getting rid of stuff for weeks, but it seems like 10 minutes a day, I would never get anything. I mean, I'll be here till 2050 or something. Because I've been getting rid of stuff month by month, and it just seems like I feel like I'm putting a lot out, but when I turn around and look, I still have so much stuff. Oh my God!
But but you're putting out stuff. You're not bringing back in. So in other words, your home is getting smaller and smaller. You just don't know it.
I'm trying to downsize. I'm trying so my kids don't have to do it.
Yeah, but can they help you to downsize?
No, the one doesn't live here, and the other one that lives here never stays here. So it's up to me and my cats. That's why I wanted to know how to get them to help me.
Yeah, in Sacramento, I actually there's the church, or it's in the Mormon church actually. They message me if they know some seniors that they can help do some work for them. So maybe it's any churches, you can run to the church and see if someone could help you to downsize. So those are the things that you can probably employ to not employ because they are free, to ask them to come over to help you.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so look into that.
Okay.
All right, tip number 6, which is distribute legacy items now. Do you have china, silver, jewelry, or other items that you're planning to leave to your loved ones? Distribute those items now. It means that you no longer have to tell a loved one. You will give them something when you are gone. So many times we hear people say they want to wait until to give something away to their children, their grandchildren, or others when they pass. The reality really is you should give these items away now. Now, giving them away now lets you enjoy seeing them being used, and it also empty your home faster. Now, one caveat though, if you decide to go do this route, make sure you really want to give the items away now. And if you really don't, then don't say, "Oh, you will. You will want it, so I'll give it to you anyway." You know. Now, childhood memorabilia. If your kids or other family members don't want keepsakes from their own childhood of yours now, now you're still around, the kids don't want anything, then they're not going to want it when you're gone. You know, my parents have this pot and pan that they want to pots and pans that they want to give us, and I'm like, no, they're old. I don't know. So no, I'm not gonna keep. Oh, then they say you will want it when we're gonna. I said no, I really don't. So just give those away too. If the kids doesn't want it, then maybe sell it. But hold on to few precious symbolic mementos, those that truly speak memories and joy, and digitize images of the other items. Okay, and we'll talk about it a little bit more later. Yeah, that's right, Carolyn. They will fight over it when you're gone. So make sure you have that. Give it to them now. If you can't have in your home, give it to somebody who can use it. Very good. Now, tip number 7. So let me go back. Tip number 6 is about distributing your items now. Tip number 7, avoid punting as if they want it. Punting is guilting the next generation into taking an item they probably don't want anyway. We often have furniture that we kept from our parents because we knew they would be upset if we didn't take it, but we never actually wanted it and we kept it out of obligation. Guess what? The next generations don't feel that obligation also. They simply don't want it. And and how do you find out if they want it? You ask them. If a person says they don't want it, then don't say, you just don't know what you want yet, and save it for them anyway. If they don't want it, they don't want it. And it's our job to respect that. You either sell or donate the item to someone that does want or need it. Number 7, the tip number 7 is avoiding punting as if they want it, meaning to say, guilting the next generation. Did you get that? There you go. Furniture is called filling, and too often overfilling. A room with furniture is a common tendency. Doing so makes the room seem smaller and gives you more places to store and display more stuff. Start by eliminating a couple of pieces from a room and see how much more spacious it feels. You know, if you have 4 nightstand in your bedroom, get rid of the 2. You only need 2 nightstand. I don't know why you would have 4, because what people do. Oh, I can use that. I never know. So those are the things you need to get rid of. If you have too many furnitures, get rid of them. Okay, let's see. Great, Sonia, thank you for taking care of the chat room. Now we're going to go to tip number 9. No, wait a minute, sorry. I'm going back to tip number 8, which is called donate, donate, donate. So tip number 8 is called donate, donate, and donate. The reality really is always someone there is always someone that needs it more than we do. Now focus on finding a place you want to give something away to versus how much it's worth. For now, store these items if you like to donate in a designated room in your home or in the garage. Unless a book has sentimental value or you're going to read it again, put it back into the circulation via a yard sale, a thrift store, or even a library, you know, so other people can also enjoy it. Um, In the library, you can always get free access to books, CDs, and DVDs, and you can store countless ebooks. Many are available for free on an e-reader that's smaller than a simple single print volume. And you can easily digitize your music and movie collections. I still do like, though, the actual book that I can touch. But when you get done using those books, give it away, give it to the library, to the thrift store. Now, when shelter in place restrictions are lifted, nonprofit organizations like the Salvation Army will resume picking up donated items on the curbside. Some organizations like Goodwill have reopened and are accepting drop off donations. Now we're moving on to tip number 9. It's called be realistic with clothing and food. We often are very realistic about our stuff. On the screen is a picture of an adult man's closet. To the left are his size 28 pants, then moving right are 30s, then some 32s, and a bunch of 34s, and finally 3 pairs of size 36. Now there are 20 pairs of pants here, and he admits that only 3 fit him. Now, why is he holding to all of these pants? Is it likely it's because he thinks that he will fit back into them? Will he fit back into the pants? The reality is he probably won't even wear those pants again, and it's okay to give him away. That he can give away the 28s, the 30s, and the 32s. Can you imagine giving those away? And he have 3 pairs of pants left in that closet. The rest are gone. Now, if your wardrobe has outgrown your closet and dresser, somebody have asked this question earlier about the clothes. Now, if your wardrobe has outgrown your closet and your dresser, start by purging enough pieces so that everything will fit. Get rid of unwanted clothing at yard sales or online, or by donating items to charity. Now, food is the same way. Those dates that say it expired, those are real. So why do we hold on to food? Now tell me, now because I think many food banks, that's right. And because our parents always told us about real hunger during the Depression, that's why we kept food. And now here's a helpful tip. If you have moved twice and took the food with you both times, it's probably expired. Okay. Now, last tip is called pare down papers and photos. Somebody asked this question regarding papers. Now, we've saved this for the best for the last, of course. Now, paper, books, mail, and photos. Am I right? Paper is the hardest because it represents potential. Potential contacts, potential loss of friendships, potential dates, potential phone numbers, potential money, and potential memories. It's all about potential with a capital P. We naturally don't want to lose those things, so we hold on to those paper. Now, for the files, let's talk about files right now. Consumer Reports advises organizing your important files into 4 categories. Papers that you need to keep the calendar year or less, ones that can be destroyed when you no longer own the items. They cover tax records, which you should save for 7 years, and the papers to keep indefinitely. You can access copies of many documents nowadays, such as your bills, bank statements, user manuals online. So you can always go online to find those. Now consider storing digitized documents on a web-based storage service or an external drive. You know, Joe F., if you don't display your diplomas anymore or professional certifications on the wall, if you don't want to get rid of them, so those I think I would keep, but I would also digitize those because the paper might disappear someday, but make a photocopy of those. Let's see, somebody says, please repeat the four kinds of paper. The books, the mails, and photos. I think those are the ones that we're talking about here, Kim. So now we'll talk about really quickly. Okay, so you're talking about the four categories, you know, the papers that you need to keep for the calendar year or less, ones that can be destroyed when you no longer own the items they cover. Three, tax records which you should save for 7 years. And four, papers to keep indefinitely. Okay. Banking and you know, you, Carolyn, you said about gas and electric bills. You know, once you pay them, get rid of them. You can actually access those online if you need to look at them again. But I will talk about that in a little bit also. If there's a possibility you or your spouse will be applying for Medicaid for nursing home coverage, in most cases, you'll need to produce 5 years of financial records, such as the banking, credit card, and brokerage statements. That's so the government can look for any asset transfers that might delay your eligibility. Otherwise, now keep banking and financial statements for a year, except those issued for income-related purposes to provide the IRS with a record of tax-related transactions. Your bank or credit card issuer may have set statements going back several years online. If not, download each new statement and save it in a password-protected folder on your computer. Now, if you own stocks or bonds, keep records of any purchase for 6 years after you file the return reporting the sale of that security. Again, in case the IRS thinks you're underreporting your gains, and dump that shoebox of old canceled checks since electronic versions of them are retained by your bank or credit union. Now, we recommend shredding all mail if you have a micro shredder. And if you do not have a shredder, we actually recommend putting a cardboard box in the trunk of your car. And when you take your mail out of the mailbox, rip up the junk mail in small pieces and throw it in the cardboard box. This way, when it's full, you can drive it to a free shredding event and dispose of the contents safely. Now, pictures are another big part of the paper conundrum. I'm going to lay some truth on you. You simply don't have to save all the pictures. Now, helpful tip. If you don't know the name of the person in the picture, then, then you don't need to keep it. Now, the best tip we have is to keep at least 100 of pictures you like and write out the names of the people and the stories attached to the people in the picture. At the end of the day, this is not about the picture. It's about the people and the emotions behind the stories. You are most likely the only person that does know that all the all you know all the people in the picture. So it is our job to write those down. This is something your family does not care about. It's about the stories, really. Now, our suggestion, keep 100 or so pictures in a few gallon-sized slide lock bags. Write the stories on each picture and consider getting rid of the rest. You don't have to throw them away, but consider giving them to people who will treasure them. The main thing I hope you'll remember from the last 30 minutes is that this is about stories, it's about emotions, and about people. It's not about the stuff. So celebrate the stories and get rid of your stuff. Now, who can help? You know, now the sorting process can take a fair amount of time, so allow for this. Here's where to find help. To find a professional organizer in your area, consult the National Association of Professional Organizers at www.napo.net. The site allows you to choose someone with a specialty in hoarding. If your loved one has a therapist or psychiatrist that they don't want to get rid of stuff, inquire with them for recommendations or for organizations that can help you with hoarding or to get rid of your things. Now, remember to ask your loved ones for permission to speak to his or her therapist or psychiatrist. Now, you can also visit International OCD Foundation website to find a therapist in your area who has experience with hoarding. He or she may be willing to recommend a local organizer. Now, some states have assembled task force which combine the efforts of many agencies to help citizens with collecting stuff, with hoarding. Now, check your state website for information on whether there is such a task force in your area. Long-term help for the hoarder, we have, of course, the International OCD Foundation. You can also reach out to the Area Agency on Aging for recommendation, as well as aarp.org/home family your home. And this is talks about hiring a consultant. You might also want to reach out to a professional certified aging in place specialist, just like myself in Grace Sonia. And what we normally do is we go into a house and kind of look and see, why do you have too many um, area rugs in your home? We need to get rid of these things because it's not safe for you. You know, another organizations that can help, of course, is donations. Right now, of course, we all know is tough because of COVID, but places like Goodwill or Salvation Army are actually asking folks to call ahead because they have been flooded with donations and are still struggling with space. Now, specific to eyeglasses and sunglasses, there are some nonprofits organizations like the Lions Club that has earned a reputable specifics to recycling glasses. Now, for old cell phones, check with the homeless shelter or the women's shelter as they may need some refurbished phones. Now, if the task is overwhelming, consider hiring help with the National Association of Senior Mover Managers or the National Association of Professional Organizers. Now, in a minute, I'm going to ask you to share your downsizing and decluttering tips in the chat room. But first, I'd like to see if there are any other questions. Robin says a lot of the Lions Club have for eyeglasses. The Lions Club, most areas have. Most used CD stores will buy CD sets, right, Lucy?
Yes, CDs are back in style, as are cassette tapes, interestingly enough.
Yes.
So,
Now,
Chris, oh,
yes.
sorry about that. So, Chris, there's a really interesting question in the chat.
Uh-huh.
Curious as to how you'd answer this one. Cinda's asking, how do you convince your spouse to declutter?
Maybe involve, like we mentioned earlier, to involve the spouse. Maybe right now he doesn't want to get rid of it, um, but tell him the reason why, or her the reason why you need to downsize. That usually, to me, it takes a while. It's like talking to somebody. It's like caregiving also, Jay Sonia. How do you talk to somebody that you're caring for? It's a difficult conversation, but if you give him a reason why you want to do this or that you need to do this, both of you need to do this, then they might be able to say, you know what, I will help with that. Um, and maybe ask them, let's go look at your closet and see what we can get rid of. You know, and just go slow. Don't like overwhelm them. Like you need to get rid of that because you're too big for that now. Those things, they will just shy away from you. So yeah,
So a
I hope
gentle
that helps.
approach.
Very good. Yes, absolutely. And also another thing that might also help, let's say, okay, you have this Gucci bag that you want to get rid of, or some watch, the really old watch, a Timex that you don't want it anymore, or that person don't want it anymore, or even a couch because you have 10 million couches in your home. Look online and see how much it actually costs, and maybe it's like, look at this, honey. This couch costs $500. If we get rid of it right now, it's $500. See, $500 you can use to buy you a new TV, something like that, or vacation. You know,
Or savings towards your kids' college
that's
education,
right.
or yes, yes, yes.
Oh, yes. Now, let's see. Margaret says, my ex-husband only wanted to throw away my stuff. He has been out of the house for many years. His stuff is still around. It's crazy. Right? That's true. Carolyn, Craigslist, is it safe to sell items? I have done it before, but it is safe, yes, only if you meet them in a public place. Or let's say, because I've sold like minimal, smaller stuff to Craigslist before that I'm able to carry with me to them, or to like a grocery store in front of a police station in the front where there's people, so you're not by yourself. Then yes, I would say it's it's hard to say in regards to big items. I've given away my area rug before to a lady and her husband with 4 kids. And to me, I felt safe by just talking to them. And I usually ask for more information. I have their phone number and their how many kids they have and all those things. Just have to play your due diligence, do some a little bit of research in regards to that.
So, Chris, sounds like we've got a lot of great advice in the chat. Free Cycle is a good tool for gifting items. Offer Up, someone listed an organization called Soul to Souls, where you could give away shoes. Chris, are you going to give away any of your shoes to Soul to Souls?
Maybe. I'm like Imelda Marcos. Let's see. Replacements in North Carolina will buy china and crystal settings. There you go. So this one here, let me read this really quickly. If you had to clean out a parent's home, it's heartbreaking for the adult children. Mom cherished her stuff, but the old-fashioned style didn't fit, or the adult children already had their own. This will give you perspective that when you pass away, save your adult children the heartbreak of sending your stuff, s- the heartbreak of sending your stuff to go to Goodwill. Makes them feel like traitors to your memory. This is what motivates me to clean out and declutter. Chris, thank you. That's a really good point. It's like save that heartache right now. Let's see, anything here? Joe says, thank you. This has been a great one. DSW take shoes for souls. I did not know that, Suzanne. DSW take shoes for souls. Souls for souls. Neighborhood for libraries.
Yes, I have a little free library in my neighborhood, and
You do.
it's been great it's a great place to put my books. And usually within a day or two, those books are gone. So good to know that folks are still reading.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good thing to know. Let's see, it's ring. Oh, there's an old. Okay, set. What else? Is there some more that we can look at, Grace Sonia?
Ooh, DSW gives you points towards other purchases when you bring in shoes.
That's right. So get rid of that shoes and buy another shoes. You know, there are little boxes people put on their properties. You can donate and pick up from those boxes. That's a great one, Robin. I like that. Angel says, yeah, the points. Teresa says that if you or she already told her children that when I die, they can toss everything except consider saving the photos. If they can identify the people and the family tree, everything can be given away. That's really good of you. Now, earlier today, we talked about King Tut, remember? You know, they started the presentation. There was a picture of King Tut that did take it, so that he took all his stuff with them when he died. Now on the screen, the photo on your left is what was found in the king's tomb, you know, his so-called garage. Now the image on the right is an image of of your everyday garage, just as you're cluttered and full of stuff. Now King Tut could not take it all with him, and neither can we. But remember, King Tut, those things probably cost millions of dollars right now. But imagine that all of those on your right, you can't take those with you when you die, when you pass away. I told my niece and nephews that when I pass away, I'm taking all my stuff with me. And they just said, yeah, right, sure, whatever. So you can't take any of those. So consider giving those away, getting rid of them while you're still around. Now, I'd like to take this, any suggestions for old Barbie dolls? Ooh, like you mean for collectible items, Cinda? You know, ooh, you know, if they're collectible, you can actually sell them online. But if they are just for, if they are just regular Barbie dolls, I think, you know, even shelters would like them for their children there. I'm sure. Um, Women's shelter, Goodwill again, Goodwill. You know, if somebody says it's playable, give it to the shelters. So now I would like to take this opportunity to thank you again for joining us today. Now, I hope you enjoyed this workshop and hope that the information will be of value to you. Please be sure to visit and like the AARP Facebook, as well as, of course, the AARP California Facebook and Twitter pages. And of course, visit our website frequently for updates and information and for more upcoming virtual events and movies. Now, if you are interested in volunteering with AARP at home, please email me at kritual@aarp.org in California. Now, for relevant coronavirus informations and resources, please visit cdc.gov/coronavirus and aarp.org/coronavirus. I hope you'll stay connected to AARP on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you again for joining me today, and Grace Sonia. Have a wonderful day. Thank you all. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Thank you for everything. Great.
Thank you. It was just wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. Appreciate that.
very helpful.
Thank you for the tips. Good.
Yes.
Thank you
That's
very
it.
much.
Thank you.
Stay safe,
Thank you
everybody.
very much.
You guys be safe and join us again in the future. I believe I'm doing some more presentation on caregiving.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
You all
you.
be
Thank you.
safe.
Be
What was
safe,
the
everyone.
what was the full
Thank you.
URL for home, family, and your home?
The home fit?
Yeah, aarp.org/home-family-your-home/ and I couldn't get the whole thing down.
Oh, let me see.
What?
There we go.
Is it
No,
there?
no, the one before
One
that was
more.
the one. Before. Yeah.
Oh, there
Oh,
you go. Yeah.
Info 214 and then declutter tips for home. Okay, thank you.
No problem. I'm going to leave it up there in case somebody else need that information.
And thank you for the presentation.
Can you take it to the next one? The
Certainly.
last one.
This
Thank
one?
you. Yes, thanks.
No problem.
Is this presentation available anywhere online?
No, it's not, because we have a contract with an organization for us to do this. So are you looking for the resources?
Yeah, I'm looking for, I take bad notes, so I was hoping.
Oh,
I
you
was
know,
just,
if you can actually go onto aarp.org
yep,
and do a search and say, and look for decluttering, you will find all those information.
Oh, good.
that's great. Thank you very much. That's all I need.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Let me just look in here for you all.
Yeah, you know, Chris, the search bar on aarp.org, I just type in a couple of keywords and just everything pops up.
Pops up. Okay. Oh, Linda, thank you. I have a nice voice, don't I?
You do, you do.
You ready?
I have a Galaxy that every time I speak on my presentation, they'll ask me, I do not understand that. Whatever you're saying. Yes,
No,
please take a photo of the page with your cell phone. Thank you, Robin.
Ooh, sehr gut, danke. Have a German speaker here.